Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting will please come to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided in the following ways. Notice published in the Courier News, notice posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, notice made available to the township clerk, notice sent to the Courier News and the Star Ledger. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Weissman,
Here.
Mr. Patel,
Here.
Mr. Reggio. Roy's here. Mr. Blount. Oh, he's grainy. He's here. Mr. Mitterondo,
Here.
Mr. Ellie,
Here.
and Chairman Cahill.
Here. Will everyone please stand for a salute to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Keneally, do we have any changes to tonight's agenda?
Yes, there are two changes. Epistar Properties is adjourned until May 25th with no further notice, and 100 Lakeview Rear is adjourned until May 11th with no further notice. Those are all the changes I have.
Thank you very much. In the interest of efficiency for tonight's meeting, I'm going to go out of order. I'm going to take item number 9 first. Henry has some issues he needs to address with the applicant. The item number is 923-ZB-23V, Martha Sanders.
Are the Sanders present?
Yes, we are.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Some issues have arisen on your application, and I don't believe that you are ready to go forward tonight until you can talk to a professional to see if those issues can be handled. You applied for a pre-existing non-conforming use, indicating that it's been a two-family house since before 1953.
That's correct.
You submitted a lot of proofs on that. There's also apparently been an addition sometime in the last 30 years or so.
1994.
Okay, that's a different issue than a non-conforming use. That's what's called an expansion of a non-conforming use. You haven't applied for that, but that's something that you would need to get. So what we're doing is we're recommending that we adjourn this tonight so that you don't have to notice again, or maybe you will have to notice again. And we recommend that you talk to an engineer or a planner or both so that you can amend your application and not have to start all over.
I have a question.
Sure.
I understood and I read what Henry had written, and what he's saying is that it was an expansion. I'm a little confused because the footprint of the original structure was never changed. And what I mean by that is the garage was existing in the previous owner when he did because I did not do the addition. When the addition was done, the previous owner built that on top of the existing garage. And it was a permitted expansion or addition. It was permitted, and it's been closed out because when I went to purchase the property, I did an Oprah. I didn't know I was going to need those proofs. So I tried to obtain it yesterday, and they have 7 days, so that didn't happen. But it was a permitted expansion addition that was inspected, approved, and closed out. So it didn't change, like I said, it didn't change the footprint of the original house, which is a two-family. And that was my argument. It's a two-family. The addition is only available to the first floor.
Whether or not your addition had all the permits and approvals from the construction code official doesn't have any bearing on whether or not this was an expansion of a non-conforming use. If you enlarged, not you, if someone enlarged the living area, not the footprint, but enlarged the living area, that's an expansion of a non-conforming use. You haven't applied for that, you haven't noticed for that, and you don't have the proofs to support that at this time. And that's why we're recommending that we not go forward tonight, because if you insist on going forward, we can't vote in the affirmative on this because you're not here for the right purposes. And that's why I'm recommending that you go see a lawyer to make things right.
Right.
Okay, I would recommend adjourning this for a month. So we'll announce a new date Laura, do we know what the first meeting is or the second meeting is in June?
The second meeting in June is the 22nd.
I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. In May, I'm sorry.
May 25th, but we're short 3 people automatically that night, so I don't know how many uses you want to put on. I mean, we could go for the 25th, but
And James, in all fairness, if I have to get I'm gonna need some time to obtain a lawyer and I have to research for a professional planner.
So you're okay with
I'm an
June?
electromechanical engineer. I'm not an architect. I'm not a planner, so I need to find who.
June
Okay, so
22nd.
Okay, so you're okay with June 22nd, Mr. Sanders?
I would, yeah, if I can, as long as I get the people right.
Yeah, and if you're not ready by then, let us know and we can adjourn it again.
I understand. I'm working with the town. I'm trying to get this through. I've been working on this prior to, when COVID hit. Unfortunately, this is what's delayed it so much.
Okay. All right, so anybody here on the Sanders application is going to be adjourned till June 22nd, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Have a good
Thank you.
evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Good night, ma'am. Okay, let's go to item number 5, 23-ZB27V, Yadira Pineda.
Is Ms. Pineda present?
Hi, good evening.
Ms. Pineda, I need to swear you in. Could you raise your right hand?
Yes,
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth?
yes.
Your name and address, please,
306 William Street, Piscataway.
and your name?
Yadira Pineda.
Thank you. Ms. Pineda, could you explain to the board what you'd like to do here?
We would like to making the second floor an existing. We have an attic upstairs, and we would like to build a master room and 2 rooms and 1 bathroom.
Okay. Henry, did you have any comments or questions about this, with this
Yeah, there
item?
was just a couple things that I needed clarification on. One is that you're not proposing any new construction over the garage, correct?
No,
Okay, that's good. And the second thing is that you were proposing a second driveway on the opposite side of the house, which doesn't really make sense because you have a small frontage and now we have to put another curb cut in. There's a township street tree there. I think it would make more sense to widen the one driveway that you have on the one side, so you don't have to put another opening into the street, because you only have like a 65 foot, I believe it was frontage on the property, which again, for 2 curb cuts, it's not a lot, not much distance for the second driveway.
I provide the specification that driveway we made last year. So it's an existing driveway from previous building, like we did last year on June.
Oh, you
Already,
did it?
yes,
So that's already been done?
yes, mm-hmm,
Okay, did you get the permits from the township for the road
Yes.
opening and everything?
yes,
Okay.
I did.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then the only other comment I really have is that the porch in the front of the house should remain open
Yes.
because it encroaches into the front yard setback. So if, as long as you're keeping the front porch open the way it is, then I do not have any other issues with the application.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Henry. Any
Thank
other
you.
members of the board have any questions for Ms. Pineda? Hearing none, I'm going to open it to the public. Anyone in the public have any questions or comments about this application?
No one, Chairman.
Okay, I'm going to close the public portion and I'm going to make an offer to approve this application. Can I get a second? Please call the roll.
Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Reggio,
Yes.
Mr. Blount,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Mr. Ellie,
Yes.
and Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
Ms. Pineda, your application has been approved. We will memorialize a written document at our next meeting and mail that document to you. You don't have to be at that meeting.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate
Good luck, ma'am.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right, let's move on to item number 6, 23-ZB-29V, Christine Meckerton.
Yes, I
So
am
need to
here.
swear you in. Could you raise your right hand?
Yes,
Swear that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth.
yes, it is.
Your name and address, please.
Christine Meckerton, 17 Water Street, Piscataway, New Jersey, 08854.
Thank you. Could you explain to the board what you'd like to do here?
I would like to rebuild my home due to its age and the size, the usage. I'm looking to extend it by 1 bedroom and by about 595 feet. So essentially making a 1,200 square foot home instead of a 600 square foot home.
Awesome. Mr. Hinterstein, can you address some issues with the applicant?
Yeah, there's just a couple of issues. I don't know if she had a chance to review the staff report, Ms. McAdam, if you had a chance to review it. One is
I did.
engineering recommends that concrete sidewalk, and it's also a requirement for all new homes that sidewalk be installed along the entire frontage of the property with 6-inch apron and sidewalk along the driveway areas. The other issue is that, again, so your plan would have to be revised showing that with some details. Your engineer could probably take care of that. Also, there's a moratorium on that street because it was recently repaved. So you wouldn't probably get a street opening permit for any additional curb cuts. I don't know if when they redid the roadway, you had petitioned them to add the second curb cut that you show on your plan. But if you haven't, it may be difficult for you to get that permit from the township. You could talk to the engineering department on that, but I just want to make you aware that there is a moratorium on the road. And they may allow you to do it, they may not. They may say you could only have the existing curb cut that's there now. And you may have to work around that. And then also you just need to confirm that you're going to be maintaining the garage because it's a requirement. And if so, then you just have to show how the garage is going to be accessed from your existing or from the proposed driveways on the plan. Because the requirement is that you have to have a driveway for any new home. I'm sorry,
Okay.
a garage.
All right, so from number 2, which is the concrete sidewalk, there is no sidewalk on my side of the street due to the location of where the drainage is. The township attempted to put in one about 3 years ago and canceled it due to where the drainage and the sewerage is. So
Okay.
there's no sidewalk on my side. As for the garage was never a garage. There was never a driveway in the back when this house was built in 1944. I have the original survey here, which shows that there was never an actual driveway going to this masonry garage is what it was labeled when I purchased the house in 2009. And we do not use it as a garage. It is just for storage. I keep my lawnmower and weed whacker in it. There's nothing else in it other than that.
Okay. But what happens is when you're knocking down your house and building a new house, you need to adhere to what the current zoning and site plan ordinances are. And unfortunately, one of those ordinances requires you to have a garage. So it's fine for a house that was built in 1940 something, but for a house that's being built today, you need to have a garage. So you could modify the plan that you're proposing to include a garage, and then I don't really care what you use the building in the back for. That basically is a large shed then, even though it states it's a garage, and that's fine. But you either need to say, yes, that's a garage, then you don't have to add one to the house because it's large enough for a garage that is required in the town, but you would just have to show some access to it, that it could be used as a garage. Whether or not you use it as such or not, I need to believe that it can be used as a garage in order for it not to be needed in the new home.
So I must have a garage. Is that exactly because of the size of the home? Is
No,
that the
because
case?
it's a new home,
Because
period.
I understand now. Okay.
Again,
So
ma'am, you can use it for whatever you want. You can put in it whatever you want, but technically we have to say that it's garage.
Okay, because the problem is that the extension of because where it's located, it's not accessible for a vehicle unless I literally pave half of my acreage with a driveway to get to it. So it would be more economical for me to actually just add on a garage to one of my new driveways, which now I might not be able to have both of them because I can't have a second apron opening.
Well,
So-
you still might be able to have that driveway. You just wouldn't be able to access it to the road. You know, you'd have to be creative, I think, in how you design the driveway. You know, almost like you could have it sort of you have it connected like an H or a T or
Correct.
so you still may be able to have that. You just may have to have a turnaround on the one side so that you could get back out to the same entrance point. So, I mean, that's something that you and the engineer, I think, could probably work out. I don't think that's the end of the world.
But I
you
still
know, and I
garage.
agree, the garage may be better. You may be better off just adding it to the house or adding a new detached garage in a conforming location.
Okay, what would I need for the garage to be approved by the township? What are the specifications that I should approach my engineer with?
Well,
What
the
am I-
garage has to be 12 by 20 interior dimensions, and it has to be, it has to meet the accessory, if it's detached, it has to meet the accessory structure setbacks. If it's attached to the house, it has to meet the principal structure setbacks. So those you could obtain them from Laura. So and she could provide that information, or you could look it up in our zoning ordinance. I believe you're in an R10 zone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's an
So
R10.
10-yard side yard, 35-foot front yard, which is the same. If it's attached, it's the same requirements for the house. If it's detached, I believe you have a little bit more leeway. On the side, you could go up to 8 feet on the side, and I believe the front though becomes, Laura, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 60 or 40
Accessory
something.
structure, 60 feet.
Yeah, it's
In the front property
quite
line.
more substantial. But
8
if you
feet
put
on
it
the
to the
side,
rear of the home, I
25.
think you would comply.
And I would have to extend that driveway to make it accessible.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
And as far as the sidewalk goes, again, that's an engineering requirement for all new construction. We're gonna have to make it a condition. It's actually in the ordinance. So if you came in to get a permit for that house, even if you didn't need a variance, you would be required to add that sidewalk. Now, if there's some issue that doesn't allow you to do that, that's something you're gonna have to, or, you know, that prevents you from being able to put that sidewalk in. That's gonna be something you're gonna have to work out with the engineering department.
okay, but so going forward, everybody on my side of the street is going to have a sidewalk put in?
If they come in for new construction or to construct a new home, it's part of the ordinance, just like the garage. You're required to
Got it.
have a sidewalk, yeah, and all new construction.
Okay. Okay, so now am I looking for a new application package to put through, or how do I go forward with what I have already, or do I have to reapply?
No, we can go forward tonight and make these things a condition of your approval. So that you would get an approval tonight, but there would be conditions attached.
Got it. Okay. I've never
Okay.
done this before. I apologize.
That's
No,
okay.
no, please, ma'am. Please don't. Any other members of the board have any questions for Christine? Hearing none, I'm going to open it to the public. Anyone in the public have any questions or comments for this applicant?
No one, Chairman.
Okay, I'm going to close the public portion and make an offer to approve based on the conditions outlined by Mr. Hinterstein. Can I get a second?
A second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Reggio,
Yes.
Mr. Blount,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Mr. Ali,
Yes.
and Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
Your application has been approved. It will have a couple of conditions that we just discussed. We will memorialize that in a written document at our next meeting. You don't need to be present for that. We'll mail that document to you.
Thank you, everybody. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Good luck, ma'am. Have a good night.
Thank
Let's
you.
move on to item number 7, 23-ZB 30V, Javesh and Rina Patel.
Are the Patels present?
Yes.
I need to swear you in. Could you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give should be the truth?
Yes.
Your name and address, please?
184 Dunn Avenue, Piscataway.
Thank you. Could you explain to the board what you'd like to do here?
Like fence variation, like located over the sanitary sewer assessment.
And do you understand that if the township ever needs access to that sanitary sewer, it would be your responsibility to remove and replace the fence?
Yes.
And you agree to that?
I don't think we have to pursue any other, Henry, you had no other issues than that, correct? Okay. Any other members of the board have any questions for this applicant? Hearing none, I'm going to open it to the public. Anyone in the public have any questions or comments about this application?
No one, Chairman.
All right, close the public portion, make an offer to approve this application. Can I get a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Reggio,
Yes.
Mr. Blount,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Mr. Ellie,
Yes.
and Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
Your application has been approved. We will memorialize it in a written document at our next meeting and mail a copy to you. You don't have to be there next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank-
Good
Good
luck.
luck, Mrs. Patel.
Good night, Mrs. Patel.
Thank
Let's
you.
move on to item number 11, 18-ZB-37V, 500 New Market Road.
Yes, good evening. My name's John Sullivan. I'm an attorney with the offices of Vastola and Sullivan. I represent the applicant 500 New Market LLC, which is the owner of the property. Property is currently improved with the two-story building as well as some related site improvements. The first floor has two storefronts facing New Market Road, and towards the rear of the building, what's been used as a motor vehicle repair garage. And the second floor has 3 residential apartments, 2 of which are 2 bedrooms and 1 of which is a 1-bedroom. This property is located in the R75 zone. So this particular use is not permitted under the current zoning ordinance. And we are here tonight to ask your consideration for the issuance of a certificate of nonconformity pursuant to NJSA 40:55D-68. We have submitted a number of documents. We submitted the deed showing that the applicant purchased the property in 2016, a survey which appears to show sufficient parking area towards the rear of the building, a set of floor plans showing the layout that I just previously described, also some site photographs showing the front, rear, and side of the building, as well as the parking area, smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector certificate that was issued at the time of purchase at 2016, some miscellaneous construction permits, and then, the main proofs would be the property tax cards that we provided. Unfortunately, the tax assessor advised us that they did not have anything earlier than 1974. So we submitted, I think, 4 separate property tax cards dated 1974, 2013, 2016, and 2017. The property tax card from 1974, under type and use, it indicated combination stores and apartment. Under the rent section, indicated a Junction Deli, as well as a Getty gas station. And under interior, it does indicate apartments, as well as office and store. Whether that the apartment number there is 2 or 3, I could not tell you for certain. It also indicates that the property was built 60 years prior, so that would be 1914. 2013 card shows the use as Bill's Garage and 3 apartments. 2016 does the same thing. And 2017 indicates apartments, offices, warehouse, 3 apartments and an auto garage built in 1914. Tax assessor also sent along something historical, which really is not relevant to the application, but I'm a bit of a history buff, and that told us back in 1850 it was used as a store and a pub, and in 1876 as a store and a post office. We also submitted the certification of the prior owner, Mr. Loria. My client advises me that Mr. Loria passed away since the date of certification and now, So unfortunately, he cannot provide live testimony, obviously. And he indicates in his certification that the property was built in 1914 and used as a deli and a motor vehicle repair since the 1940s. He began leasing the property and used it as a motor vehicle repair garage in 1963. And he indicates at that time, the property was also used as a deli and for residential apartments. He ended up purchasing the property in 1973 and puts the various uses as motor vehicle repair shop and deli with the residential apartments. And then later on, the stores were used as an antique shop and as an electrical contractor office. I do have the representative of the applicant, Mr. Bill Homer, here to provide some testimony and give the board a bit of insight as to his purchase, his understanding, and what he's done with the property since. So I'm going to slide over and allow Mr. Homer to want to come into that screen.
Yeah.
See up there.
Mr. Holmer, can you raise your right hand? You swear the testimony you're about to give should be the truth?
Yes, sir.
Can I have your name and address, please?
It's Bill Homer, 203 Park Avenue, Plainfield, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Mr. Homer, 500 New Market LLC is the owner of this property,
Yes,
and it purchased the property in 2016.
yes,
And your daughter is the owner of 500 New Market LLC,
yes,
and you serve as the manager of that company.
yes.
Now, at the time the property was purchased in 2016, what units existed?
Was the 3 apartments, the empty garage, the stores, and that's it.
Okay, and by stores, there were 2 storefronts?
Yes,
And you've shown that on the floor plan that's been submitted to the board?
yes.
And did you make any changes to the layout of the interior of the property from the date that you purchased it?
No changes at all, except that I replaced some kitchen cabinets and countertops. That was all, and repainted the apartments.
Okay, and at the time you purchased the property, were there any tenants in the building?
Yeah, there were 2 tenants in the apartments.
And which apartments? The 2 bedrooms, the 1 bedroom?
The 2 bedrooms,
Both of the 2 bedrooms?
yes.
And overall, what was the condition of the property at the time you purchased it?
The condition was bad, and it took some time to get it cleaned up. And I tried my best to do what is necessary to make it livable. And for example, the front section of the building was terrible. The brick walls was falling apart. I had a contractor came in, put on a new facing on the concrete block facing on the building. Then in the front section of the building where the driveway is, I paved the driveway completely. In the back section, I also replaced some windows. And I'd like to do a lot more than what I did, but I need to get the permission that I would need to do what is necessary to make the place look livable. And nice area. And if the opportunity allows itself, then I would do what I need to comply and bring it up to par. So it would make the neighborhood very well liked.
And in connection with that, you've had the opportunity to review Mr. Hinterstein's and Mr. Chadwick's reports.
Yes,
And Mr. Hinterstein recommends in items 2 through 6 of his report that certain site upgrades be made. Would you be willing to do that?
absolutely.
And Mr. Chadwick mentions some of those same things, but he also recommends perimeter fencing and or landscaping around the rear of the property in order to provide some privacy. Would you be willing to do that?
Yes, I will be.
And you submitted a survey and site photographs. In your opinion, how many parking spaces can be accommodated on site?
I would say approximately 30.
And you had indicated that Mr. Loria has passed away.
Yes,
And if you were to obtain approval, in addition to the items that are mentioned in the reports that you agreed to do you have any other plans to improve the building or the site?
Well, then what mentioned in the report, I think that should do it as far as the improvements. I think that would really make a big difference. If there's anything additional that I can do to make it better, I would be more than happy to do so.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for Mr. Homer.
Well, Henry, did you need to address anything above and beyond what the applicant just testified?
Well, again, I think they're willing to work with the township. I think the proofs they provided, as well as some of the research that I have done, I think it clearly shows that the site has been used for the apartments as shown, and the garage, and some retail. There may be a little question as to whether or not there's been, at times maybe one retail establishment or two retail establishments. The floor plans, I think, sort of show that space being connected with only, I think, 1/2 bath, or perhaps it's not connected, but with no bathrooms that were shown on that floor plan. But again, in any event, I don't really have too many issues with the certification of the non-conforming use. It's more about the condition of the site, and I think the little bit of TLC that the site and the building need, as I think John has pointed out as well. I think when you come in for any CCOs at that time, they're going to look at the uses that you're looking to put into this, to the retail aspects, and again, and the number of apartments that you have. I think it's going to be smart to have delineated, spaces for the tenants, so that there's no conflict with the potential retail and garage use. I don't think there should be any, outside storage of vehicles, especially in the front yard on Union. I think John's recommendation for, an enclosed area for privacy for both the tenants and for the garage use will be somewhat important. So I think I don't think there's going to be any issues with the uses. I think when you come in for the CCOs, there could be issues, if the parking in the site isn't, updated and brought into more code compliance, and delineated spaces, I think, and the screening and all of those things that are shown on the applications aren't addressed prior to to you coming in for any kind of CCO for a use.
Thank you, Henry. John, did you need to reiterate any kind of points on that, or did Henry?
No, Henry and I basically did the same comments. The site needs cleaned up, and he said he would do it, as well as don't pave anymore. Keep the grass area for the tenants.
Got it. Okay. Any other members of the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, this is your only witness?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
sir.
fine. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to proceed without your clarification. Does any other members of the board have any questions for this applicant? Hearing none, I am going to open it to the public. Anyone in the public have any questions or comments about this application?
No one, Chairman.
Okay, I'm going to close the public portion and make a motion to approve this application. Can I get a second?
Before you vote, Jim, should they kind of set a use grouping? I mean, the garage is not a permitted use, repair garage, neighborhood business zone, right, Henry?
I'm sorry, John, can you repeat that?
So I would think that the resolution would contain a stipulation of what neighborhood business uses would be permitted and garage.
Yeah, I think they said 2 retail stores and a motor vehicle repair facility was the testimony.
Right. I mean, there's testimony also that it was used as a deli for a long time.
Yeah.
So
well, that's a permitted use in the business zone. So
right, the GB
uses plus a garage, because the garage is not.
Right.
Just so it doesn't get out of control 20 years from now.
Yeah, so I'd include that language in the resolution.
Okay, can I still get a second on my offer?
Anybody?
I second.
Thank you,
Thank
Ben.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Patel. Did we lose Kalpesh? Mr. Reggio,
Yes.
Mr. Blount,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Mr. Ellie,
Yes.
and Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
We will memorialize it at our next meeting, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a
Thank
good night,
you, you
gentlemen.
too.
Okay, let's move on to item number 12, adoption of the resolutions from the regular meeting of April 13, 2023.
First is Shafika Patel, which you voted to approve. Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Reggio, Mr. Blunt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
Next is Mega Patel, which you voted to approve. Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Patel, Mr. Reggio,
Yes.
Blunt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
Wallace Tillman, this was a partial grant and a partial denial. Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Reggio,
Yes.
Mr. Blunt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
Jamar Neal, this was a vote of approval. Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Reggio,
Yes.
Mr. Blunt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
Adam Burhani, which you voted to approve. Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Patel, Mr. Reggio,
Yes.
Mr. Blunt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
Last resolution, Kiran Kumar Patel, voted to approve. Mr. Weissman,
Yes.
Mr. Patel,
Yes.
Mr. Reggio,
Yes.
Mr. Blunt,
Yes.
Mr. Mitterondo,
Yes.
Chairman Cahill.
Yes.
Those are all the resolutions I have this evening.
Okay, item number 13, adoption of the minutes from the regular meeting of April 13, 2023. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Make a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Once again, thank you for volunteering, guys. Let's go Rangers.
Good evening, everyone.
The draft's on, the Mets game's on, lots of stuff.